All right, everyone. Welcome to Rhythm and Roads podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Jacob. We have a very special guest. We have actress Molly Reid. Welcome, Molly.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So, Molly, I was looking at your profile, and you're also a model and a voiceover actor as well.
Yeah,
Ah,
that's
cool.
true.
Nice. So, I would like to hear your story, how you became an actress, the journey from that, like what inspired you to become an actress. Was there certain movies when you were growing up that you looked up to of certain like, oh, I want to do that, or voiceovers or being a model. So what's your story?
Okay, you want me to just ramble on?
Sure. I
Okay.
have coffee with me too, so that's gonna
Oh,
help.
good. I know I should have got another cup. I've got a Bosa donut right
That's fine.
now.
Start from the beginning.
So I have wanted to be in the movies since I was little.
Yeah.
And that seemed, as I grew up, I was like, Molly, you're in the desert. Like, get practical. It's never gonna happen for you. And so I kind of dabbled like in musical theater and choir and stuff through high school. And then at NMSU, I took some just acting classes for non-majors. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the
Yeah.
people and enjoyed the experience. Um, and then I just kind of let it fizzle out. You know, there was like a lot of self-doubt and um, I just couldn't see how it was going to pan out for me. And this was probably in like 2010, 2011.
Oh,
So
okay.
the film industry in Las Cruces looked very different then.
Okay.
Um, and I also had a lot of learning and growing to do
Mm,
before I could ever kind of be a channel for stories because I was so young and just fearful, scared of the world, and so I did some living, and some of it was ugly and some of it was beautiful, and I learned a lot. And then I lived in Southern California for a few years, which is where I
Oh,
met my
nice.
husband.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. I was like, they have beautiful flowers in front of the Wiener Schnitzel, like tropical flowers at the gas station. It was crazy to me.
Right? Yeah, Cali does have a lot of surprises like that.
Yeah, and the weather was
Oh,
perfect.
love the weather.
And the people. So
Yeah.
I had a lot of
Everything.
experiences. Yeah.
California's perfect.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Um, and decided to start a family, and that wasn't
Oh,
very
nice.
financially responsible to be living there for me anyway.
Mm.
And when I came back, there were just some baby opportunities. This is where it started
Okay.
uh, for my current time, which is there was an audition for Creative Media Institute, CMI at
Yes, yeah,
NMSU.
well. Okay.
And they were just doing an open kind of casting call. And it was at the Rio Grande Theater. And I was like, I have time. My husband's here to watch my kid. Like, let's just see what could happen. And this is very out of character for me because I'm a scared girl. And I showed up and they just took my little mugshot and they had me read a couple of lines on the stage, which I wasn't expecting.
Oh, wow.
And I just didn't hear anything for a while. And then one of the students, Jaron Lunsford, actually, he reached out to me and was like, we're doing a short film called Cup, and we want you to be in it. And I was like,
Oh,
okay, let's do it. And that experience, I mean, changed the way that I kind of looked at filmmaking. Like it was bigger than just actors being actors and celebrities being celebrities. It was more the art of it and how passionate and talented these kids were.
wow.
And they were so open to me looking behind the camera and telling me how the mic packs worked and explaining like they just, I don't know, they didn't judge me for all of the weird, silly old lady questions that I had.
Old lady. That's
Because I
funny.
was like, look at them go, What is all this? School's so different
Whoa. Yeah, open up your world, huh? You're like,
It
oh,
really did,
yeah.
and that was where I kind of started being able to, take footage for creating my reel,
Wow, that's
and, I just got really kinda lucky from there. I got a baby break from Dolph Lundgren immediately after,
wow.
and I got to do Wanted Man, and that
Yeah.
was my first IMDb credit,
Was wow, nice.
Yeah, that was kind of like my first kind of uh it was big for me,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
And I just got to see all the commotion and just like a fly on the wall. I'm just watching everybody and loving every minute of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. 10 hours in the green room, who even knows? But I'm just like, what's your biggest heartbreak and what did you learn from it? Like I want to know these people, you know?
Right.
And they entertained me. They humored me.
Nice. So, I mean, hearing all this, you actually kind of went through your own script of your own story of your life. You wanted to pursue film, you wanted to do that, but then it's like life was like, well, how about you go through your own journey and experience that way when you go through the films and all that, you can look back and said, man, I actually had my own story. I actually went to California. I actually saw things that I probably wouldn't have if I would have stayed behind. I had the desire to start a family, get married. So you actually had your own film movie in a
Mhm.
script without knowing. And then you come back to Cruises when it was the right time. Because
Mhm.
maybe it wasn't the time, like you probably already know this, it wasn't your time at that time when you wanted it, but
Right.
life knew what you needed, you know. And I think when you went to California and explored all that, you wouldn't have had that opportunity if you would have, if it would have been at that time when you wanted it, you know what I mean? Because I
Mhm.
would have loved to have gone to Cali and explored things like you did, but not everyone gets that opportunity. So
Yeah, I was very
that's how you
fortunate.
did. Yeah. And I think that's
Um,
cool. You know, there's always a time for everything, right?
yeah, it really it just prepared me and it educated me and it shaped me and I was able to see all different kinds of walks of lives
Oh
because
yeah.
it was just limited to hometown knowing everybody, you know, and everybody kind of having a very similar experience. And and actually it kind of goes deeper than that. In 2020, my mom died from Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which
Oh,
I just mention it because I think awareness is important because a lot of people and even professionals don't know about it. So it often gets misdiagnosed for a really long time.
would you like to share a little bit of that, of what it is?
Sure. It's kind of an umbrella diagnosis that incorporates a lot of things, sometimes GI issues, dental issues, mood issues, and also like lack of collagen, lack of muscle mass,
Wow.
an inability to build muscle, and like osteoporosis. So, all of those things kind of together is that diagnosis. And so she was bedridden for about 10 years.
10 years. Oh my
It just kind of
God.
out of nowhere, it was like it was almost like she was hit by a truck. Like, it was one day she was
Oh
fine,
my
and the next day
God.
her life was a challenge. And so, when I lost her in 2020, that grieving process, prepared me for my next role, which was an independent film called A Long Road to Tao,
Hmm.
TAO. So some people say Tao, some people say Tao.
Hmm.
And that was directed by Alex Carrig and written. It's actually a book also available on Amazon.
Oh,
Um, The Tao of Surfing is what it's called.
I was surfing.
So basically, the storyline is this gentleman has AIDS. He's dying of AIDS. And he moves to Las Cruces from the beach.
Hmm.
And they make a plan for him to basically die with dignity at a time where sort of voluntary suicide is, you know, there's no, I shouldn't say compassion behind it, but it's just really frowned upon and illegal.
Hmm.
And it allowed me to really put myself in the position of the sibling who's caretaking for him and seeing how much pain and discomfort he's in and kind of honoring his decision to uh, die on his own terms with dignity and grace and to not continue to live in horrific pain any longer, you
Hmm.
know, and that became legalized in 2021 in New Mexico. But I wish she would have had an option because I know she didn't want to live that way. So I
Hmm.
was in that character and the scenes where he was dying, I grieved things that I wouldn't have grieved just kind of on my own terms because that's hard and inconvenient.
Hmm.
But it put me in a place where it was like, you must feel this now on camera. When we say go,
Hmm.
go. And I was like cornered in a way, but it was important for me, you know? I
Right.
needed to feel those things in that way. And so that was like the best experience.
What an experience, yeah. And I'm sorry about your mom. That's, dude, I mean, for bedridden, that's like, I can't imagine what you and your family went through having that with your mom. And I lost my mom 3 years ago to cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and it was, well, thank you. It was 8 years of her battling it. But I mean, there
It's
was
similar.
some, it's hard. And then
It
there's
is.
years and there's years that you're just like, God, like, just I already like you wish you can help someone that's going through it, but you're not going through it, but you're like, what can you do as as her son? You know what I mean? Because there's times where you're just like, I mean, I bet you can experience, relate to it with your mom just being there and you as the daughter, like, what can I do? You can only do so much, but then if they're
Right.
there bedridden or she's fighting cancer and going through these whole body changes and mind mental thing, you're just like, dang, I don't know what to do
Yeah.
except pray for her, you know? I mean, for me, I'm a,
Mhm.
faith believer, but
Me too.
man, I'm just sorry about your mom. That's just like, when I hear things about parents and kids and family, it always breaks my heart,
Yeah.
because I could relate so to certain family stuff. So
Yeah, when people mention sort of well, my best friend, her dad passed away from cancer, and watching her go through that journey, and I went through my journey kind of shortly after. Um, I was able to have like true sympathy for what she was experiencing. So I think that they're very similar to kind of
yeah.
watch somebody and be so helpless
Hmm.
and to have to deal with the healthcare system and all of the challenges that come with that.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
um, so I don't know. I guess it feels so unique when you're in it because it's just like paralyzing and soul crushing.
Oh
But
yeah.
when you look at the broad picture, like it's the part of the human experience. Like everybody, we all die at the end,
Yeah. We
and
all have to go.
we have loved ones if we're lucky that have to experience that.
Mm.
And I I just kind of got this feeling in my heart. This is maybe too woo woo for people, but like I really was kind of praying, right, to the powers that be, like, why? Would anybody have to experience this? Why? What could you possibly learn from this?
Right.
And on my heart, it like washed over me. It was just like, um, she chose this experience. And like she elected to have this and she was ready and she buckled up. And for whatever reason, it was like this was her decision, and how bold and bright and warm is her light now on the other side, having gone through
Mm.
something like that. I don't know. It helps me sleep at night anyway.
No, no, I agree on that. I mean, I feel like for your mom to say I'm ready for that and now that she went through that journey and now she's at a better side. That's the same with my mother. I feel like because she loved God with all her heart, she had faith, but for me it was hard because it's like, there's certain things in the Bible that says by Jesus stripes we are healed. But then I'm like, well, how come she's not healed?
Hmm.
It's hard because she's still fighting cancer. She's not completely 100% healed. But the thing
Hmm.
is, I think what I saw at my mom's end was that once, probably like a year prior to her passing, was when she accepted the fact that she wasn't going to get better. She
Hmm.
wasn't going to be 100% healed. Only when
Hmm.
she went to heaven. And when she accepted that, it's like she had a peace, she told me, that came
Hmm.
over her where she wasn't fighting anymore. She wasn't
Right.
figuring things out anymore. She wasn't wondering why. I could think when
Hmm.
she just accepted, say, you know what, I'm not going to get better. I accept this. I'm done fighting. And then she told me this peace came over her that she's never experienced before. And from
Mm.
that point on, she was able to just live her life to the fullest of just what she could do and
Yeah.
leave this earth in a peace way that's saying, I'm okay.
What a gift.
Yeah. And it was hard for me because it's like that's always the like I know it's not about me. This interview is about you.
That's
But
okay.
I just feel like, for me it's like it's one of those hard things that you have to just because I love God. I believe in God. I have faith. I go to church and all that. I'm not at all considering myself a perfect Christian. I fail every day. But the thing is, my struggle was that it's like, how can someone who loved God with all their heart, which was my mom, wasn't healed when there was other people that loved God with all their heart and they got healed, but
Hmm.
my mom wasn't. And there's other people that haven't been spared from that. You know, there's people
Hmm.
that are spared when they're healed 100%, and there's some that are not. And it's
Hmm.
always that question because yeah, I love my mom. I love her like to death. Like she was
Yeah,
my
it feels
best
personal.
friend, you know, like someone I would so losing her was like losing a part of me that I was like, oh my
Me
God,
too.
like how can I even go through life the rest of my life without her? Like but
Yeah, losing a
thankfully,
parent is very like
oh,
I always describe it as like being untethered because
no,
they're the people who bring you into this world.
that's
And
right.
for them
Yeah.
to be gone, it's just like you're just like an astronaut, like,
Oh,
no.
yeah. You
It's a
feel so out of
terrible
place
feeling.
sometimes. You just feel this void a bit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you can relate to that. But I gotta honestly say though, is shortly the day after I say this, then we'll continue with you.
Sure.
But after she passed, I thought I was gonna be so like falling apart, devastated, depressed, just all over the place. But I honestly have to say that the next day from her death, my brother and I were at a hotel casino in Las Vegas, and we were just having coffee at a certain food court. And I gotta honestly say, when I was sitting there, right the next day of her death, him and I were quiet for a bit, and I think I forgot who asked who. Either I asked or he asked, but he's like,
Hmm.
"Can you feel that?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Wow." He's like, "That's that peace that mom would talk about." I'm like, "Yeah." And it was like a peace that was holding us together in a way
Hmm.
that we didn't understand. And it
Hmm.
was like, man, like I was like, wow, that's like it was like we weren't it was like I felt like for me personally, my experience is God was holding us together, saying we knew this
Hmm.
part was going to come up, this journey of you losing your mom, but we were preparing for this, and now I'm ready to hold you through this, through each day of it. And it was an experience I will never forget of having that peace. That and the
Yeah.
Bible talks about it, the peace that surpasses all understanding. I didn't understand it. He didn't understand it. We were like, whoa, like that's like we were not falling apart, we're not crumbling, we're not like it was just like he was like holding us and I was like, man, like and there was times we did cry, of course, and all that. I mean, it's normal, yeah, of course, but
Hmm.
I didn't lose myself. I wasn't like devastated. I had a certain thing that was holding me through each day, through that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done. That's my journey. No, but sorry if I went on that, but
No, we got deep.
I wasn't prepared to say that, man. I was like, this
Me
This wasn't
either.
about me. It was about Molly now. Like, but
No,
hey,
it's about
I could.
us.
But I'm glad that you actually got to experience life. That's what I think. Like for me, I've never been married. I don't have kids. But for everyone who has their own chapter and their own journey, and that's what I love about doing this podcast because everyone does have their journey. You had yours. You're not your journey's not over. Like you went to
Yeah.
California, you got to experience things that a lot of people probably don't have that chance, and and life brought you back to cruises, which I love cruises. I think it's a cool city,
Yeah,
especially
me too.
for the film industry too. Uh,
Hmm.
but it's awesome that life was like bringing you back to what you needed and also for what you desired for it to work out. So
Yeah. I've been I feel very lucky. But I think it's a gift of like the life that I lead today because I was a really different person a decade ago, and I
really, wow.
really struggled in the world and I was really afraid and I made every attempt to just numb out and not feel.
Mm,
And so it's not been, I don't know, rainbows and butterflies, but like it's tragic and it's magic, man. Like this is the human experience.
that's
And
right.
um, so I think today my focus, if I'm lucky and I'm in my right state of mind, is like other people, and connection and nurturing relationships with the people who love me and um, being of service to, my household and to my community and
Mm,
to people on set. I
mm.
truly think that that's been sort of like my
Like your calling.
Yeah,
purpose?
but also like my ticket to like any sort of like fortunate success that I get is
Mhm.
because I'm just like, how can I serve here? And this is not the way that my brain usually works, right? Like this is me
No,
like trying to get spiritual and like thinking of other people, and that has led me to these opportunities. Like as soon as I started deciding that I wanted to do this, they just unraveled one after the other, and then it led into voiceover work, which I love.
that's
And
so cool you got to do that.
yeah, it's a lot less hours. But I've gotten to do commercials with my son and my husband, and it's
That's
been like a
cool.
family experience. And my son is big on being on set because there's snacks and there's people who give him attention. And
Oh
he's like,
man,
sign me up. So it's
that's
just been like cool. I'm like, this is
yeah.
just so good.
That's funny. Which voiceover project have you done?
Um, let's see. I sometimes do like storylines for Pocket FM, which are kind of live action drama novella type things.
Oh
And so
yeah,
I narrate through those and they go on Facebook and stuff like that.
cool.
Um, like YouTube food channels, uh,
Really? Oh wow.
like government sort of instructional educational videos,
Wow, look at
just
you.
random stuff.
You know what I really like in your story is how you told me in the beginning that you had a lot of fear of doing all this, or if
Hmm.
you had a certain, you know, I like the fact that life is like, yeah, I know you got that, but I'm gonna push you to get out of that. So let's get you to go on these journeys, these adventures to get you out of your comfort zone. Because
Hmm.
sometimes life, that's the thing is like with us, we like for me, we only like we what I'm gonna say is like we only have one life, right? So
Hmm.
it's kind of like you either do what you got to do on this life or you lose it, right?
Hmm.
And if fear stops you all the way to the end, it's like, well, you had so much opportunities that came up that you could have overcame that. And sometimes life wants the best for you to do the things that you were called to do on earth, that
Sure.
it'll push you to do things that you're like, whoa, you know. But in the
Hmm.
end, you're going to look back and be like, man, I needed that. I needed to learn that. It helped me get out of my comfort zone, out of my shell. And I've been through that too. And I'm glad that you got to go through that where you didn't let fear continue to hold you back majority of your life. Life pushed you to go to California and do other things, get married. I mean, marriage is a big commitment too, and it's a life changer.
Hmm.
You're like, whoa, you know, but hey, that's you're out of the zone on that. So look at you, you should write a book. I mean,
I'm
overcoming
happy
fear.
willing to.
No, for
If
real.
anyone
It
wants
is.
to read it, comment below. I'll
I
write a
know, there
book.
you go. Yeah, comment. Yeah. That's cool,
Um,
Molly. I'm really happy for you guys. I'm really happy that you got to do so much on your journey. Any projects right now going on? Any future projects or movies you're gonna be in?
let me think. Let me think. Mm, none yet, but
Okay.
I'm holding out. Things have been a little slow, but I'm always kind of,
Always
I take
open.
that as my cue to just kind of work on myself and keep
Yeah.
having experiences and um, so that I can be a channel when the time comes. But I usually get some little commercial stuff occasionally. So, um, and also I love getting to do the more of the community commercial stuff, like with NMCO, they
Oh, okay.
do, like don't forget your bag for the grocery stores, and
I
uh,
didn't even know there was a commercial for that.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
Visit Las Cruces.
Okay. Oh,
Just
okay.
I don't know. I just love working with them. They're talented
Yeah.
individuals and they're so cool. But yeah, nothing currently going on right now. I'm going to be doing a little bit of schooling. Just we need a plan B in the event that I can't be self-supporting as an actress.
Well, yeah, that's fine. And there's actually certain people that I know that are still they which is fine. They like I have a friend that has a good well-known band here in El Paso, but I mean they've done really well for themselves, but he still has a side job, you know what I mean? Like
Yep, this economy is
it's like you just
got to do
never know.
it.
Yeah. But you know, I actually want to go talk about your Wanted Man film because I know that
Okay.
that puts you at the IMDb. So what was that experience like? How did you get a role in that film?
Um, So I signed up for the email through New Mexico, or I'm sorry, Film Las Cruces.
Oh,
And
film.
so you
Okay.
can sign up and kind of get like email blasts when they are doing a casting call.
Oh, okay,
And
cool.
so I responded and sent in my headshot and stuff, and they said, "Would you be willing to be a reporter for this?" And so they have you kind of do your filming, and you say the lines, and you submit that video. It's most of it's virtual now. It used to be
Oh,
in
right.
person, and sometimes it is,
Yeah.
but not a lot. And so I submitted it, and they were like, "We don't know." And I just waited.
Really?
What I've learned is that, like, because so much happens and there's so many people that need to coordinate to
Oh,
make a
okay.
picture,
Yeah, yeah.
that it's usually very last minute. So they must have called me at like 9 p.m. the night before, and they were like, "Can you come in tomorrow for a full day? And what do you have to
Dang.
wear?" And I was just like, "What can I do?" Like, made myself as available as possible, and I
Canceled
brought my
everything the next
tunable
day.
dresses, and I got a trailer, and
Oh,
I got
wow.
it was cool, man. That
That
was
is
my
cool.
first speaking line in like a kind of decently budgeted film, and
Awesome.
I got to work directly across from Dolph Lundgren because he was directing the film, and there was like me, the camera, and Dolph like just this far from me, and
Wow.
I'm like, like this is my first time on a big set with like a real
Uh,
big crew, and
that's so cool.
I gotta look him in the eyes for this.
And that's cool. You had your own trailer too.
It was way cool. I was
Yeah.
not expecting
Is
that.
it one of those trailers that say like Star Wagons or something like that? Because I
I'm
usually
trying to
when I go to
I'm
Warner
sure I took
Brothers.
a picture of it, but I was, like, trying to
Okay.
be cool, so I was like, "Don't take a picture of everything, Molly."
Right. Really.
So I can't remember what it said, but I definitely they were like, "That's yours," and I
That's
there
cool.
wasn't a lot. There was,
Nice.
like, me and a sink, and but I was like, "This is the coolest thing," like,
Oh yeah.
beyond my wildest dreams.
Of course. Like you have your own Star Wagon. Like, oh, who's in there? Molly Reid. Oh, don't forget to knock. But actually, because anytime I go to like Universal Studios or Warner Brothers Studios and I visit the back lot, they do have they're called, I think, Star Wagons or something like that. So
Mhm.
those trailers. And I was wondering if they have the exact same one like that.
Who knows? I know they
You
brought him
know,
in. There was a
yeah.
few of them,
Oh,
and
cool.
I was just lucky enough to sit in one for a day.
Oh yeah, no, that's so cool. And I know in El Paso recently, I think 2 months ago, Warner Brothers was in El Paso filming
Mhm.
Leonardo DiCaprio, and I was like,
So cool.
what? Like in downtown? Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah. Were you able to try to be a part of that, or how, or is that?
I hadn't heard about that one.
Okay,
Because and a lot of times when it's somebody that high profile,
okay.
they it's very locked down and you
That's
have
very
no
locked
idea
down.
who's gonna
Okay,
be there or what they're doing, and so everything's kind of very hush hush, and
yeah,
so
true.
I missed the boat completely, and that's okay with me. I'm just, like, really happy that people in our area, like Las Cruces and El Paso, are able to have experiences like that,
Oh
and
yeah,
that
yeah.
there's, work for people out here, and an industry for people out here.
Right.
So I'm happy for anybody who got to come across them and got to experience that set.
Yeah,
I
I
do
think I read that some students from NMSU got to help with that with the Warner
Yeah,
Brothers, and I was
they're
like,
so damn good.
it's like
Really.
that's so cool.
That program's amazing.
Actually, I
Why?
got to check it out for a bit. It was actually really cool. The CMI and just some of the classes wanted to
Mhm.
check it out, so they let me check it out. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was cool. Well, thank you, Molly, for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate your story and your time and everything. And and just I'm still shocked just that we had this discussion with our moms and what happened.
Mhm.
That's the thing is about this podcast is that sometimes things come up and they're for other people to hear about it so they can be inspired and just that way they're not alone going
Not
through
alone.
what all we
Mhm.
all go through. But I hope you continue to follow your dream and pursuing your passion and being an actress, voiceover actor, even a model. That's cool that you're doing modeling.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough to get to do that with Livingston Bridal. They
Oh,
call me
oh, really?
occasionally to
Okay.
put on some wedding dresses, and I'm like, "Count me in."
Oh, yeah.
That's I got had a courthouse wedding, so I'm like, "Put me in all the dresses. Let me have that
Nice.
experience."
That's cool.
Yeah.
Before we have some more time, just a little bit, but
Sure.
just to really get to know you just a little bit more, who's your favorite music artist if you have one?
Oh, don't do this to me.
It could be one. Doesn't have to be a lot of them.
No, 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 no. Because there's like we're
Well,
chameleons, and there's so many parts of me.
okay, who's on your playlist right now that you've been listening to lately?
Let me pull it up because my brain
Okay,
doesn't work
that
that good.
way we get to know kind of your side of music.
Oh my God. This is probably gonna be embarrassing.
It's all right. I'm a
My
musician.
Spotify,
That's what I like to ask sometimes.
my Spotify Wrapped was mostly like superhero soundtracks because my son likes to DJ.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Okay, we've got some Kendrick,
Oh, all right.
Billie Eilish, obviously,
Okay, cool. We'll go with one more.
Lola Young.
Okay, never, I haven't heard the music, but
She's kind of up and coming, but she's like more mainstream now. I don't know.
yeah, okay, nice. And on your when you're not working or doing film, what do you like to do on the side? Do you like to read books? Do you work out? Do you like what's your other side hobbies that you like?
Oh my gosh, all the above. So I'm fortunate right now to be a stay-at-home mom.
Oh,
My
nice.
son's
Okay.
going to be in kindergarten next year, so I'll be in full work mode. But
Sweet.
I've gotten to really find hobbies that I enjoy, which are obviously hanging out with him, but also showing him what hobbies are, how to cook.
Oh,
So
good.
cooking, gardening. We try to grow a lot of our own food. What else? Exercise, book
Really?
reading.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we usually try to do it all together.
Wow.
Sometimes I get a break. I get a little backup and I can do it independently, but that's pretty much what I do.
Nice.
And then I
You're
just wanted to
artist.
mention when you asked me any projects coming up, I
Yeah.
forgot that A Long Road to Dow should be streaming soon. So pay attention for updates on that. And then In Our Blood, which is directed by Pedro Cos.
In Our Blood. Okay.
Yeah, that'll be, I think that'll be streaming soon, but they've got a bunch of products or
Oh,
projects that they're kind of getting out, but that
yeah.
should be coming up next. So those will be streaming.
What was the
And
first one
Wanted
you
Man
mentioned? The
is
name of
on
it?
Amazon Prime.
What was the first one you mentioned?
A Long Road to Dell.
Okay. That's on Amazon Prime or
That one's not picked up yet, but that's
okay.
like the next step for it.
Oh,
And
nice.
I
Cool.
think they're in the talks, but who knows? Um,
Nice.
I say who knows because nobody's told me that specifically, but I'm piecing it together that like
Yeah.
it looks like it's going in that direction.
All right.
In Our Blood will probably be streaming on most general platforms, and then Wanted Man is on Amazon Prime.
Oh, it is. Oh, that's
Mhm.
cool. Nice.
Yeah,
One more question. What's your, well, I shouldn't say one only favorite, but what's one of your top favorite movies?
you're doing it to me again. Um, in terms of movies that I've watched the most,
Or one that really inspires you as an actress, where you're just like, oh, every time I watch it, I'm just like, oh, I love that, you know?
uh, I usually lean toward the movies that just break my heart because
Hmm.
I'm very rarely moved, right, by
Really?
like
Okay.
things just on a regular basis. So if a movie grabs me and just has me sobbing, I'm like, whoa, that's powerful that that emotion can translate from the screen. So
Yeah. So which movie
there's a
did that
couple
for
movies
you?
like that. What Dreams May Come by Robin Williams.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Um,
That's a, ooh.
Big Fish.
Wow, that's an oldie but goodie. I remember that.
Oh gosh, I watch it once a year and
Do
it
you?
just like and it's beautiful. The
That is a
story's
good movie.
beautiful and
Yeah,
it's magical
it is.
and unusual.
Yeah.
So I'm into that.
Yeah,
And then
what
I watch
remains,
crazy
yeah.
stuff like Goodfellas,
Oh yeah, of
you know,
course. Yeah.
the classics.
Back to the Future?
No,
No?
Raising Arizona with Nicolas Cage.
Which one?
Raising Arizona. It's
I haven't
probably from
seen
the
that.
early 90s.
Really?
It's
Okay.
a really silly movie, but
What
John Goodman's
about
in
what
it.
about La La Land? Is that a no?
I
Okay.
watched it once.
No, it wasn't fan. Okay. Okay, I get that.
Are you a fan?
I thought it was good.
Everyone
I
was a
thought the
fan.
director was really good. He directed Whiplash, and I thought the story was pretty interesting. Right, but well, cool. Got see now we got to know a bit aside of you with the films, music, and your hobbies. So that's cool. Nice. Well, thank you, Molly, again for coming on the podcast. Hope you and your
Thanks for
family have a
having me.
great Christmas.
Same to you.
Yeah, thank you. And I hope that we could see you in future films coming out and just new projects. So thanks again for coming on Rhythm and Roads.